Welcome to the Weekend Football Podcast.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I am Leif.
I'm Ross.
And I am Joel.
We're going to talk about Newcastle versus Chelsea, Manchester City versus Everton, West Ham versus Swansea, Aston Villa versus Leicester, and finally the Monday night game, Southampton versus Manchester United. So first, we've got Newcastle versus Chelsea, which is 12:45 on BT Sport. Newcastle's last 3 games at home have ended 1-0, whereas Chelsea are unbeaten in 17 league games. Leith, where do you see that one going?
Who's going to beat Chelsea this season? I think that's the question. Newcastle's form is actually quite good. 4th in the form table, four wins in the last 6. And also their defensive record have only conceded 3 in the last 6, scoring 7, where Chelsea have also conceded 3 but scored 10. I think Newcastle were poor against Burnley, who were bottom of the table a few short weeks ago.
But Burnley had won 2 out of the last 3.
Sure,
Unbeaten in 4.
Yeah, unbeaten in 4.
That
So
took them off the bottom of the table. But look across the whole season, they've not been playing particularly well. I think that their stats are probably they're sort of slightly flatters them a little bit. They've played Burnley, QPR, Leicester, West Brom in the last 7. So although they've only conceded a small number of goals, they have played sort of the bottom end of the table. I can't see Chelsea not winning this, but I don't think they'll win by many.
no, same. So Newcastle's last 3 home games that ended 1-0 was against QPR, Liverpool, and Leicester. So Liverpool are the exception to that, but they weren't in great form when they played them.
No.
Yeah, I think the scary thing about Chelsea is you saw in midweek in their 3-0 win against Tottenham. Tottenham actually dominated the ball, had 60% of possession, but Chelsea are just so ruthless in front of goal, and they didn't have to play particularly well to get a 3-0 win.
Exactly. They had 12 shots on target, 12 shots on goal, 8 were on target. That's quite unusual. 3/4 of their attempts were on target. Not many teams are hitting those sorts of percentages. They are clinical.
I think they look solid in all areas of the pitch. I mean, even with Costa out versus Spurs, both Drogba and Remy scored, which shows the strength and depth.
Quality players.
They have the quality, yeah. I mean, to be fair to Newcastle, they aren't in bad form either. They have beaten Chelsea in the last 2 home games they played against them, plus they've scored in each of their last 5 home games. So I reckon they'll get on a score sheet, but Chelsea look too strong to oppose, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree. Chelsea unbeaten in their last 23 games, not exactly leaking goals. I think if they win against Newcastle at the weekend, they equal Man City's record of going 24 unbeaten. But it is a ground that Mourinho's never won at, so Newcastle can take some heart from that. But yeah, I think Chelsea look too strong. They have got Matic suspended, which may play a key part in the outcome. But yeah, I
big squad.
Can't see Newcastle scoring.
Very big squad. Got Willian to come in and players like that.
And when start of the season, Newcastle conceded 7 goals in their first 3 home games, a 2, a 3 and a 2. And since then, they've not conceded at home. And that includes that Liverpool 1-0 win where they only scored 1. But I can see Chelsea winning, but I don't think it will be a sort of a 3-0 sort of type affair. I think it might just be, they might just sneak a goal, maybe 2.
I've gone for opposing that and say over 2.5 goals.
Do you?
Yeah, best price at Bet Victor with odds just under even.
Do you think Newcastle will score?
Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I've opposed that. I've gone under 2.5 goals. I don't think Newcastle will score. I think Chelsea will score, maybe get a 1-0 win. You could get best price of 9 to 10 at Bet Victor for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, best price of?
9 to 10. 10 to 9.
For a 1-0?
No, just under 2.5 goals.
Oh, under 2.5 goals, sorry.
I've gone for both teams to score, Chelsea win. Best price 27 to 10 with Coral. I think they'll win 2-1.
Me, I'll go for a straight 1-0 score prediction.
Next game we've got at 5:30 on Sky Sports 1 is Manchester City versus Everton. So Man City's form have picked up, winning their last 3 in a row. Everton, defensive frailties again, midweek versus Hull, Ross.
Yeah, I just think any team with Sergio Aguero in at the moment is gonna win a football match basically. He's now got 14 goals this season. That's more than Sunderland, Burnley, and Aston Villa in the league. And he's just in top form, really. Probably the best striker in the world at the moment. So yeah, any side with Aguero in halfway there.
Yeah, that first goal against Sunderland went in like a bullet, didn't it?
Yeah, scoring some special goals, also assisting as well. Yaya Touré's coming back to some form. Company as well. So I just think they'd be too strong for Everton. They've got too many goals in them. And like you said, Everton are leaking goals.
Yeah, City look as if they've turned a corner and found decent form. Aguero's on fire. Goals are flying in, not only from him, but from all areas of the team, like Zabaleta, Lampard, Jovetic. Everton, not in great form. They've won just once in the last 5. But they do tend to play fairly well against City, regularly getting on a score sheet. But with the firepower City's disposal, I fancy them to win this fairly comfortably.
Yeah, although you would think City had been in poor form a few weeks ago, they have actually only lost 1 in 11.
Yeah, not doing bad, are they? I think that result against Munich's turned
it was.
season.
Yeah,
I think it
definitely.
was based over all competitions because they lost to Newcastle in the cup, didn't they? And then
that's
they
right.
lost 2 Champions League games in a row, and then
I think Paddy Power might be sweating a little bit, considering they've paid out on Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
City, I think if you look at their games after Everton as well, it's the likes of Burnley, Palace, etc. I think they've got 5 or 6 easy games around Christmas. So
I wouldn't
they'll
worry
definitely
about
push
Paddy
on.
Power. They've got their publicity. They're happy.
Yeah.
City look pretty tough to beat. Stoke managed to do it, didn't they? In
Yeah.
Manchester, it's quite unusual. Everton, as Joel says, 1 win in 5, and Hull managed to end their run of 4 defeats last night, Wednesday night, with a 1-1 draw at Goodison. They only had 1 shot on target, Hull, out of 8 attempts, and that went in. Everton had 13 attempts, 5 on target, and they scored 1 from those 5 shots on target. So they're obviously not fighting. Lukaku looks great. I really like Lukaku. He's powerful, strong player, and I think he'll probably score at the Etihad. City have conceded in every home match this season except 1 match.
and
I
Everton.
don't know if you spotted that. Did you spot that, anybody? Do you know the one match they haven't actually conceded a goal in? Who were they playing?
United.
Liverpool.
Yeah, the neighbours United. The 1-0 win was the only match City have played at home
But
where
even
they've not
that
conceded.
game, United did pepper the goal towards the end. They could have quite easily conceded.
Well,
but
City looked sort of shaky for a good 6 weeks. Look wobbly, and they've been letting goals in, but they can score them, and they can score them in abundance. So it was 3-1 last season to City, 3-2 at Goodison. I think it could be 3-1 or 3-2.
Yeah, Everton are the 3rd highest goal scorers in the league, 24 goals this season.
They can score goals too, yeah.
But it's just their defensive frailties. Do you think Phil Jagielka's past his best?
He had a good start to the season, but since then he's dropped off over the last, month or so.
to be honest, I've never considered him as a top centre back. I know he plays for England, but I don't think he's sort of anything. He's not world class or anything like that by any means.
No, I mean,
not at all.
they've got 2 relatively quick fullbacks with Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman, but when you've got Sylvan Distan and Jagielka, I think
He had a nightmare last night.
Did have a nightmare.
I was
all over the
watching.
place.
I think I was watching one of the Everton games recently, and the combined age of their centre backs is like 70, I think, something like that. Phil Jagielka and Distan.
I think Martinez as well has always struggled. I know he was at Wigan obviously before and Swansea, but he's never been the most defensive of managers. He plays attractive football, and like you said, they're scoring a lot of goals, but he's never been one to keep many clean sheets, really.
Yeah, I think Man City's goal scoring, especially with Aguero, and Everton are terrible at the back. I'm going to go BTTS plus result Man City, best price at Coral at 15-8.
Yeah, I'll be certainly including that in my BTTS treble and above. City, I'd expect them to win 3-1, possibly 3-2, maybe even they might even score 4. But it's a very attractive bet.
Yeah, I fancy them to win 3-1 as well. Same as you, Mike. Both teams to score, City win.
Yeah, 3-1 as well for me. City win, but I've gone for over 2.5 goals with best odds at Sky Bet.
West Ham v Swansea at 1/2 on Sky Sports 1 is our next game. You wouldn't have pictured these two 5th and 7th at the beginning of the season, Leith.
No, absolutely not. West Ham sandwiched between United and Arsenal, and we're in December. Incredible, really. And Swansea, Swansea, I really like watching Swansea. They're exciting to watch. They've got some really powerful players who are attacking the ball. West Ham 2 wins against Newcastle and West Brom. Only lost one of the last 8. They're 6th in the form table. The Swans are 7th and have only lost one of 6. And they beat Arsenal 2-1 at home last month. Very difficult to separate these two, both on league position and current form. I would probably be looking at a draw here.
Yeah, Swansea haven't won in the last 5 away games, and I think that miserable run will continue. West Ham are one of the surprise outfits this season and show no signs of letting up. The home form's pretty solid, and they've beaten Swansea on the previous 2 fixtures at Upton Park, so I can only see this being a West Ham win.
Yeah, I think for me it all comes down to where it's being played, basically, in this at Upton Park or the Amber Lane ground. West Ham have enjoyed playing Swansea there. They've won 9 and lost none of their last 11 home games against Swansea. So I think if they can nullify players like Wilfred Boney, Gylfi Sigurdsson, who have been quite important to Swansea this season, I think the Hammers get the win in this one.
Well, West Ham look to be back on track, beating West Brom and Newcastle in the last 2 games. They won.
No great achievement, really, Newcastle and West Brom. Okay, Newcastle are in reasonable form, but West Brom?
Well, United
True.
can be a tricky place to go. They're not in the best of form, West Brom, but it's a tricky trip to the Hawthorns in midweek. I think they did well to eke out a win.
Yeah, Swansea have only lost one of the last 5. Beat Arsenal in that run as well, which I think was quite an achievement given that Arsenal were on form. I think when they played them, I think we went away win, didn't we? When we did
possibly
that,
draw.
It was a 5 game. We went away win. So mine would be a West Ham Swansea draw.
Mm-hmm.
I go for draw no bet on that market we haven't spoke about before in the podcast. I go for a West Ham draw no bet, which you get you 1.7. But look at putting that in the accumulator of a draw no bet.
I think Swansea score just due to the form of players like Wilfred Boney and Gylfi Sigurdsson. However, I do think West Ham will get the win, so I quite like the look of the BTTS plus result. I think it'd be a 2-1 West Ham win. You get best odds at Coral.
I fancy West Ham to win this 2-0, so I've gone for West Ham half-time, West Ham full-time result, 3-1, best price with BetVictor.
I think they'll both score, so a safe bet would be a both teams to score for me, but I'm tempted to go for the both teams to score draw. And you'll get the best odds for that at Bet365, odds of 4.75 or 15-4 in old money.
To break up the hardcore analysis of our Premier League, we're going to do a little quiz. Who is the most aggressive team so far this season in the Premier League?
With regard
based on red and yellow cards.
Whoa.
Stoke.
I would say Stoke.
No, it's not Stoke. They're 4th.
4th.
Oh,
Hull?
Sunderland?
No.
Aston Villa?
Thinking
No.
of Catamo.
Palace?
No.
Chelsea?
No, they are 3rd with 29 yellows and 2 reds.
City?
City are 2nd with
Get in
30
there.
yellows
Get in there.
and 2 reds.
Really?
Southampton?
No.
United?
No.
This is the bit where we just start
I
listing
can't
the
think.
Premier League.
Swansea?
No. I'll give you each one guess
Just
left.
give us a clue. Give us a clue. Some sort of clue. If you
They're
can.
in the bottom half of the table. So, Laith, your guess.
West Brom?
Joel?
QPR?
Ross?
Hull.
You said Hull, but no, let's still take that as your answer.
Go on.
It's Tottenham.
Really?
Yeah.
Those
Ooh.
pansies.
Ooh.
28
Surprise.
yellows, 3 reds.
Who's second was Chelsea?
City. 30 yellows, 2 reds. Third was Chelsea, 29 yellows, 2 reds.
Didn't expect it to be Spurs.
No. It's not helping them, is it, being aggressive?
No, not really.
No, clearly.
Second question. On average, which players had the most shots per game in the Premier League?
Aguero.
Can you name the second one?
Rooney.
Long.
Pele.
Pele is 3rd with 3.8. Aguero was 1st with 5.3.
Costa?
Rooney. No,
Nope.
we did Rooney.
Charlie Austin?
Nope, I think he was 4th.
Balotelli.
Yes, Balotelli.
Really?
Yeah.
Not surprised.
It's quite a
He's
big-
How does that compare? What's the ratio to his goals scored versus
It
shots?
can't be good.
No, it'd be
So no.
terrible.
So you got first Aguero with 5.3 per game. Balotelli with 3.9 and Pele with 3.8. It's quite a big jump to Aguero.
It is.
Third and final question. Matthew Everton retired from football on Wednesday night due to persistent back injury. Can you tell me where the former Stoke and West Ham winger started his career?
Burnley.
No.
I know this.
Yeah.
Derby? Is it Premier League?
Brighton.
Do you want me to give you the league they play in?
Yeah.
League One.
And that helps us really quickly. We're reading off all the League One teams.
No, I don't know.
Should I tell you?
No. Let's try and guess.
Arrogant quiz play over here.
No.
Lade's currently looking at his phone
I am.
for everyone. that's
I'm
listening.
searching. Go on. We don't know.
Peterborough United.
Would never have got it.
No.
Never.
No.
Next game, we've got Aston Villa versus Leicester, which is 4:00 on Sky Sports 1. Aston Villa surprisingly unbeaten in the last 4, which I would be very surprised at had I not read the stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Villa may have finally turned a corner. Obviously, they've gone 4 games unbeaten. Winning a tricky last game away at Palace, who they've got bad home form, beating Liverpool there. Leicester, on the other hand, rock bottom, extending the winless run to 9 games on the trot now. I think it'll be 10 after this. Encouraging signs for Villa. It's Benteke is back amongst the goals. I think they'll be confident going into this game. I fancy Villa to get the win.
Can anyone tell me the last team to beat Aston Villa?
Arsenal.
No. It's the better side of North London.
Not Tottenham.
It's Tottenham.
Yeah, I think the key for Villa would just be getting Benteke in the goals again. It was a nice goal he scored against Palace in midweek. If they can get him fit and firing again, it's not a bad front two of Agbon Lahore and Benteke. Leicester against Liverpool, just the defending looked shocking. They've picked up 1 point in their last 6 games. It was all going so well after their victory against United.
Do we have to talk
5-3.
about that again? The United victory, because we get it's like a bookend. It keeps coming back. 5-3, 5-3.
I was going to say Leicester have not won since 21st September. Who was the team they beat?
We know. We talk about it every week.
Yeah.
But having said that,
Manchester United.
Rightly so.
Aston Villa have not scored more than 1 goal since the end of August. Who were they playing then?
City.
Hull, 2-1 home win. Ooh, big achievement. So, yeah, Benteke needs to be scoring goals because nobody else is. They should beat Leicester, though. Leicester's away form is atrocious. Lost 6 away, scored 3, conceded 12, and they've not won home and away in 9.
It's dreadful.
I'm going to be controversial.
No, really?
Correct. Leicester need to win this game,
No,
and I
don't
think
go
they
for it.
will.
Don't go for a Leicester
Villa
win.
Park, no.
No way.
Yep.
What are you thinking? A 0-1?
BTTS plus result. 11-2 at Coral.
You're being attracted
To
by
be
the
honest,
price, and it should be higher than that.
No, I honestly thought Leicester would win without looking at any price.
What price is it again?
11-2.
I'll give you 7-1.
I think it should be near 11-1.
Yeah.
But I won't give it
can't-
you.
I can't see Leicester. I can't see Leicester scoring either, to be honest.
Leicester have won 1 of the last 7 head-to-heads against Villa.
Yeah.
Villa look good in the table. You look at the table, and they're 12th. They're
Head-to-head, right?
They're almost in the half. In the top half, not far away.
Head
But-
to head.
Yeah, head-to-head.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it goes back probably about 10 years. Okay.
Probably when their striker was 12.
Villa, they're 12th in the table. They've scored fewer goals than any Premier League team, including bottom QPR and Leicester at the bottom, who've scored 14 goals, nearly twice as many. But, people don't score many goals there, and they don't score many goals there. I think it'll be a 1-0 home win.
Yeah.
I think just because both teams are so bad at defending, I'd edge towards Villa, but I would just go for the both teams to score market on
Really?
this one.
Even though Leicester only scored 3 away from home in 7.
Yeah, just because Villa's defence isn't that great, and I think they managed to get a goal against Liverpool, albeit an own goal. I think Ajoa has still got a few goals left in him. He'll still get goals in the Premier League, but Both teams have just got leaky defences, so I'll just go for the BTTS on this one.
I think Emil Heskey should ride in a horse at half time, play for Leicester.
A dark horse. Here's a dark horse.
I've gone for an Aston Villa win and Benteke to score any time. 3-1 with Paddy Power.
Finally, we have Southampton versus Manchester United, 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. So Southampton have had a difficult run of games of late.
They have.
Not getting any easier. I'm really surprised they didn't score against Man City and Arsenal.
Yeah, I thought they'd score. Surprised to see a clean sheets, especially in the Arsenal game this week.
Yeah, I thought Man City might be I thought Southampton would win it, but
You did.
Yeah, I thought they
I
did.
didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah, I thought City would win
Bring up
that.
myself.
Southampton didn't really cover themselves in glory in that game, to be honest. They didn't do too much, didn't threaten the goal. Arsenal, they actually performed quite well, defended well. They were unlucky when they conceded as well, because they basically went down to 10 men, made their 3 subs. Alderweireld got injured, and then Arsenal scored moments after. I think a lot of the outcome of this game would be down to the team selections, basically. I think Southampton got 3 or 4 injured in midweek against Arsenal. United could have Rooney back, could have Di Maria. So I think a lot of it would be down to team selections.
I mean, there's not really too much to choose between the sides at the minute. United have hit form of late and are scoring goals, but they still look quite vulnerable at the back. Yes, Southampton have lost the last 2 games, but there was a lot to like about their performance against Arsenal. The structure, the shape, the way they set out the team. I think they was unlucky to lose the game.
Yeah.
I think they'll take plenty of positives into the game at St Mary's and give United a real run for their money.
Yeah, United have picked up their form, although by the sounds of it, they were lucky against Stoke.
United have been lucky in the last 4 victories, I think.
Yeah, Ashley Young saved United.
Ashley Young played particularly well after I was criticising him during the game.
It's finally justified his transfer fee.
He looked good.
Took him long enough.
He did make things happen. But United are 4th in the league, but they're 3rd in the form table, so their form is turning around. They have been fortunate, but I do think if Di Maria and Rooney are playing, and I really like the way Southampton play, and I thought they played really well. Were unlucky against Arsenal. They look exciting, strong. Their movement was fantastic. Made a few wrong decisions. They should have won it 1-0 in my mind. I think they could have done if they'd scored, obviously, before Sanchez did. But 2 tough games in their last 2. They've not won in 3 now. They've drawn the one before that. They're 8th in the form table. They have had some tough games. Head to head, they've not beaten United in 8, drawing the last 2, and the previous 6 were lost. I think that if United's confidence continues to grow as it has been doing, and they have certainly been fortunate, I think that they might just edge it. I was tempted to go for a draw about 5 days ago, but I'm now leaning more towards a sneaky away win. Both teams to score. United 2-1.
Yeah, I can see United and Newcastle, I think, are quite similar at the moment. They've picked up a lot of wins recently, but they're against lesser opposition. I mean, United won against Palace, Hull and Stoke, with the exception being Arsenal, where their tactics were spot on with the counter-attacking football.
And they drew against Chelsea. That wasn't a bad point.
They did, but that was a while ago, wasn't it? That wasn't
I think the
recent
performances are picking up for United. It's just the away forms the concern going into this one. Just 6 of their 25 points have come away from home. Obviously, Southampton prior to the City game, had the best defence in the league at home. I think had picked up the most points at home as well. So it'll still be a tough game. I could actually see this being a 1-1 draw. And yeah, that's the bet I'm going for. Correct score 1-1 with best odds at Bet Victor.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go to, St Mary's, and I think considering Southampton haven't scored against Arsenal or City in the last 2 games, I think they're due a few goals in this game. So I'm going to have a few quid on 2-2, best price 14-1 with Bet Victor.
Yeah, the last 2 head-to-heads last season was 1-1, so I'm going to go exactly the same as Ross and say 1-1 correct score.
So we've got 2 draws and 1 away. 3 draws.
Yeah,
3
draws, 2 1-alls, 1-2.
Yeah.
I'm going 1-2.
Thank you for listening. Next show, we've got Arsenal versus Newcastle, Man United versus Liverpool, Swansea versus Spurs, Everton versus QPR. See you next week.
could leave it like that. Let's hear it.
Download the Football Coupon app on iPhone and Android for best odds, bet tracking, live Opta data, and score forecasts. For more information, check out footballcoupon.co.uk. Okay.